tomorrow morning is going to be pretty chill too.
Here we go.
All right, welcome.
Andrei, thanks for being on the show, buddy.
Thank you guys for having me.
Like we like to, with a point from a tournament not too long ago.
Here we go.
Match point here.
This game 3 has not played out the way I thought it was going to, Dom, but
No.
What? You read that like a book.
I guess you can say that, but yeah, I was feeling pretty good at that point.
That was a good win. Very good win.
Yeah. Zane and Altaf are always tough. Zane has been playing very well. Altaf is always solid. He competes really hard. So we both, Eden and I, were pretty hard in the third set, and I think the last point reflects that. We played a very good match against them.
Yeah. All very talented young men.
Yeah. They won the first, and you came back and won the next two. Isn't that the way it went?
That's correct. We got down pretty big in that first game. We had a very slow start. I think it was like 7-2 we got down, and we called a timeout. We were able to steady the ship a little bit and play a little bit better. But once you dig a big hole like that, it's hard to come out of it, especially against Zane and Altaf. So we lost that first game. Then we started playing a little bit better. There were quite a few points back and forth in that second set, and then we were able to shift the momentum. And then, we got a second game, and then the third game was pretty straightforward. Both Eden and I were playing very well. We got hot at the right time.
Nice. Yeah, the score was pretty tough. So let's start over, Jeff. For some of the people that just logged on the show, who's our special guest tonight?
Yeah, welcome. We're glad to have Andrei Daescu on with us tonight. A real treat and a pleasure. And I have not met Andrei in person, but looking forward to doing that. And he is certainly somebody who's had a lot of success in pickleball in a short period of time. So welcome, Andrei.
Well, thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be on the show. Look forward to having some fun.
I appreciate you squeezing us in. I know how busy your schedule is. Hey, Andrei, I think you and Jeff might be the same height.
Sounds about right, yeah.
You're
looks
6.
Right too.
You're 6 what? 3,
4?
4?
6'4".
Jeff?
That's a good number. 6'4". I'll go with that.
Yeah.
it makes the game a lot easier when you know how to use those long arms and those long legs.
It gets a little tougher when you have to bend for the dinks, but yeah, it does help to have long arms.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you have to get back up.
And then when you're taking everything off your partner's chest too, it's a little tough, right?
Sure.
Are you like me, Andrei, and you want everything?
Well, I can play both sides pretty well, but I definitely like to be on the left a little bit more, just so I can have my forehand in the middle and get aggressive and take a lot of balls in there. But I wouldn't say I take too many balls with my forehand's chest. Usually they defend that side pretty well, and
I'm sure.
And I try to protect them the best I can. So but I definitely like to have my forehand in the middle. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, let's dig right into it. Let's start with Coach Mike's favorite question. How did pickleball find you, Andrei?
Pickleball found me in 2017. I was working at the club. I mean, I'm still working at the same club. I was working here back then, and we had a couple of members who played pickleball, and we did what everybody used to do back then. We had a couple of portable nets, and we had some tape on a tennis court, and those members got in touch with us, and they tried to put together a pickleball exhibition. They brought in some pros, and they were kind enough to go over the rules and how the game is played and the scoring and everything like that. And then we did a little exhibition, and I got to play in a little bit, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And then about a month and a half after that, we put together 2 pickleball courts for our members, and then Kyle Yates was kind enough to come over and work with us, and he did a clinic with our members and then an exhibition with me, and we got to know each other. He's been very helpful through my journey, and ever since then I really enjoyed the game. I started competing pretty much right after. I think it was about a month and a half or 2 months after that I signed up for my first tournament, and I was able to play quite a bit before COVID. And it's been a lot of fun since then, for sure.
Hey, Andrei, I was thinking to myself, I'm much older than you. I'm trying to remember how I first met you, and the only thing that I could recall was that Steve Rose or Ninja put something together, maybe in West Palm in one of those parks, and it was, a whole group of nice guys, and maybe we played with or against each other. And,
it was Steve
the
Rose.
funny thing, all I remember is you made a passing shot. It went to my backhand, but I got it behind my back. It went over your head, and you looked at me like, how'd you just do that? That was like one good shot I made. I just remember that one, I guess.
That was a hell of a shot he hit that time. I remember
so you remembered it.
I remember that one like it was yesterday. Yeah, unfortunately.
Get out of here.
It was a hell of a shot, and I remember we played. I think it was in Palm Beach Gardens. We played at the community courts over there. Steve Rose put a group together.
Yeah.
And we got to meet each other. I think it was quite a large group. I think it was 2 or 3 courts we had going, and some really fun pickleball and some really good people too.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Great story. So Andrei, you recently played in the Major League Pickleball tournament in Texas. Your team finished 4th, I believe. Tell me what that experience was like. First, getting chosen as one of the top 16 players in the world of pickleball, and then competing, in that event.
Well, as you probably know, I barely squeezed in the draft. That was the 15 peak. COVID hit hard and made traveling a lot harder for me, and I haven't been playing as much as I played before that. So I kind of got off the radar a little bit, but I was able to squeeze that 15 peak and play for the Pickle Rangers. It was definitely an amazing experience. I really enjoyed the format. Our owner Tim Glitch was very supportive. He really got the team together. I've played obviously in the same tournaments with Riley for a while, and we knew each other quite a bit. I've played a lot of mixed doubles with Lee. I obviously I knew everybody from tournaments, so they were all familiar faces. But it was nice to be back in the mix. It was nice to be competing, and like I said, I really enjoyed the team format and the scoring. I thought it was very good as well. Everything was close. Everything was exciting. There were definitely doubts about the singles format and the rally scoring and all that, but I think those doubts were eliminated after the first 1 or 2 matches that ended up in singles. And once you see Lee Wilwell take J.D. Villiers out in singles for a couple of points, you knew right away it's a really exciting format. It's a lot of fun. Right. You felt like you were always under pressure. There weren't that many points you can play badly in a game to 15, and especially in singles or rally scoring. So overall, it was a great experience. It really felt like a professional tournament. The way it was run, the people that were involved with it, the TV broadcast, referees, sponsors, the communication to the players. Everything was just spot on, and I'm really glad I was picked, and I'm really excited. I put on a good show, and I'm really excited to be part of that first season. Yeah, I'm really excited to be part of that first season. It went so well. I would be surprised if we're not going to see a lot more of that in the future.
Sure.
Well, you talk about that, and that's great, and it was great coverage from looking at it afar. But you talk about being the 15th pick. Just think about how many great players were not in those 16. So
right.
That's certainly elite company, Andrei.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah. There were only 16 spots, so obviously everybody's. Sometimes you're gonna have to leave some players out, and there's definitely more than 16 really good players out there in the world right now. The pro tour has been growing exponentially within the past 2 to 3 years, and there's a lot of really good players out there. So I was really happy to be part of it.
Andrei, did you find it was challenging because when you see a lot of people that have never played together, now you're playing against a team that's played together a lot? That's got to be a little bit more challenging. You have your regular partner, so that's how it was set up, right? So a lot of people would be playing with each other that haven't played with each other and partner up against each other.
It was a draft, so I know some people selected their usual partners. Like J.W. Johnson selected Dylan quite early, so he can play with his
Oh,
partner.
good.
I know Deco got to play at Adam, and they play full time, obviously, on the tour, and they've won PPA events. They won recently Vegas, and they've played
Sure.
really well over there. So so there were a few partnerships that you'll see on the tour as well. But for the most part, yeah, most partnerships were kind of on the go, and it was the way we got drafted. And we did get to practice a little bit the days before the event. So we had a little time for practice, but yeah, it's nothing like competition. So we definitely had to feel each other out a little bit on the court and kind of understand what everybody's covering and the communication and all that. But I thought Riley and I clicked pretty well, and I thought, I mean, especially the more matches we played, the
more
better
you
off
guys,
we were, and
yeah.
the better we both played. And yeah, we won quite a few strong matches, especially towards the end, and we finished with a winning record. So overall, it was
Real
pretty
quick,
good. Yeah.
Andre, so as the show's going on, a lot of people are sending messages. So you can see one person's asking why you're not playing more and why you're not playing tournaments. I mean, I could tell them you have a full-time job, but you go ahead and answer that.
Yeah, I mean, it's between me having a full-time job in a really big racket sports facility. We have 22 tennis courts. We have 9 pickleball courts. So it's definitely a demanding full-time job. And I also have 2 little kids at home. My older daughter is it's almost 2.5, and my younger daughter is going to be a year old in about 7 or 8 days. So
wow,
that makes traveling a little bit more challenging. And yeah, I've traveled quite a bit before with tennis. I used to put in about 35 to 40 weeks a year into traveling, so I know what it takes. And
right, it's hard to do both.
Definitely, yeah. At this point, it's pretty hard. But my kids are getting older. COVID is getting better all around the country. So you'll definitely you'll be seeing quite a bit more of me next year and in the years to follow for sure. I've already got a couple of tournaments lined up with Eden, a couple of tournaments lined up with Zane, a couple of tournaments lined up with Pat. So yeah, I think you'll be seeing a little bit more of me, and you'll be seeing more and more of me as the time goes on.
That's fantastic. That's
but
good
the
to hear.
last year and a half, 2 years, I think have been challenging for everybody, and
Sure.
and especially for me with a full-time job and 2 little ones at home, and with COVID, it's yeah, traveling became pretty hard. So yeah.
Everyone's life situation is so different, but you obviously have a very supportive wife too that allows you to go do some of that traveling.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, she's always been supportive. She enjoys watching me play. She plays a little bit recreationally as well. She enjoys the game as well. Yeah, she's all up for me playing those tournaments. So as long as I balance it out between competitive pickleball, my family, and my full-time job, yeah, I think I'll be able to play quite a bit more.
Okay.
So Andre, the rest of that question was, why don't you play more singles in tournaments?
The answer to that question is fairly simple. Having to finish the whole tournament in one day, it's not. I mean, it's definitely still a lot of skill for sure. I don't want to take anything away from any of those great players that are playing out there, but it's almost like a marathon. It's grueling from a physical standpoint, and that's why I really enjoy the format over for the Major League, because the sets were to 15, and you had some break in between, so it was a little bit more about the actual skill than it was about the physicality, and playing a singles tournament definitely takes a lot out of your legs, and those guys that do it full time, they train and they put in the hours, obviously have a massive edge over, especially in singles, over the guys that just pop in and out into some tournaments. So
I'm gonna just throw something else in there. Not everyone has to be healthy and on their feet for their job, and you do. There's surely much more risk involved playing singles to get an injury than there is in doubles.
Yeah, I mean, I've played quite a bit of singles before COVID. I used to play. I mean, I got 14 nationals in 2018. I've played a lot of singles on the tour too. It's just again, it got to a point where it's just the draws are so much bigger, and I mean, I see already some change with the finals being played on Sunday, but it's just grueling to play a full tournament from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. in one day in singles only. it's not so much about that day itself, but it definitely takes a toll on your body. And if you look at some of the guys that are looking to play for a really long time, they're kind of out of singles, playing doubles only, and mix. So you got to balance it out. If you're as young as Zane, I guess, and you get to do it all the time, then it's a little different. But
I agree. It changes.
But singles is very physical, and you have to be very mindful of how much you leave out there, because you don't want to get injured, and you also want to have some good legs for doubles and mixed doubles.
I joke around with a lot of these younger guys. I go, look, you're 30, maybe you're going to be 40, but are you going to be playing when you're 60? And you really have to stay healthy and go without injury. So it's a lot to think about. You're right.
Yeah. It's getting more and more competitive. It's getting more and more physical. So you have to be very mindful of how much you live out there and the risk of running into an injury,
And
but I definitely enjoyed singles for sure, as you saw on the tape, and if you watched the matches in Austin for the Major League, I definitely enjoyed it. I love doing it.
And I think, Andre, the APP does it right, where they have, the men's and women's one day, they have mixed the next day, and they have singles the final day. So, if you're going to drop out of anything, usually it's the singles, because, the men's are, the mixed aren't as grueling as singles are. So I think that's set up well to do it on the last day. Yeah,
it sounds about right. I mean, these guys have a tough job organizing those tournaments. I don't have the right answers for that. I just know that with the draws getting bigger and bigger, at some point the format is going to change, especially for singles.
Sure.
Again, it's all about the longevity and the health of the athletes. So
correct.
Yeah, I don't have the answer myself, but I know, again, the draws are getting bigger and bigger. You look over the last 2 years, they've been increasing in singles as well, not just in doubles and mixed. So you're going to see more and more injuries, and something will have to be done eventually about it. So maybe having it on Sunday is the play, even though you kind of want players who are willing to do it. You want them to play all three events as well, if possible. So it's a tough one. I wouldn't want to be those guys organizing the tournaments, that's for sure.
So how many years, Andre, did you play competitive tennis prior to pickleball?
Well, I've played competitive tennis. I started when I was young. I started tennis when I was 6. Played competitive juniors, and then
Not here in the States, though.
No, I've played in Europe. I came to the States when I was 18 to play college tennis for the University of Oklahoma. I've played there for 4 years, between 2007 and 2010. Graduated in 2010, and then I played for about 5.5 years on the tour after that. And struggled with a couple of injuries, especially my shoulder, and then stopped. And was just the head tennis professional at a facility here, beautiful facility here down in South Florida. And I got introduced to pickleball, like I said, through that exhibition. And I really enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the fact that I got to compete again, which was something I definitely missed. And it's clicked since then.
So tell people that don't really know, you grew up as a kid, not here in the States. You grew up in...
Yeah, I grew up in Romania. I split my time a little bit between, mostly between Romania and Germany. I used to spend the summers there training in some academies and playing some tournaments. And the club tennis scene over there is massive, and it's really good for everybody's game. A lot of the top juniors train over there. A lot of the top pros play over there in the summer. So it's kind of the place to be. And so and I've played competitive junior, so I've traveled quite a bit as a junior as well with tennis, all over Europe mostly. States, that was when I was 18. Came here, like I said, on a tennis scholarship at the University of Oklahoma.
Nice.
And then I've been here on and off. Like I said, I used to travel a lot. I used to base quite a bit out of Europe when I was playing professional tennis. So I was in and out between that 2010, 2015 time period. I was in and out of the States, and then kind of came back here full time.
Great.
Fantastic. So at your club, what you first heard about pickleball, you had a couple temporary courts. What has the membership base kind of grown on the pickleball side into there? Are there a lot more people playing?
Oh, there's massive growth, and I think that's the case everywhere around the country. We started with 2 temporary, then we expanded into 2 permanent courts and 2 temporary courts. The 2 permanent courts have LED lights on them, and then in about a week and a half to 2 weeks, we're going to have a grand opening for the new pickleball complex, which is going to have a total of 9 permanent courts, all LED lights. So and the number of members playing has grown tremendously as well, especially within the past year and a half to 2 years. We're roughly at about 150 active players, and this is a private club you're talking about. So that's a really large number. We started probably with, I don't know, 10 to 15 people. So so yeah, the growth has been huge. Everybody's really into it. We have open play every mornings from 8 to 11, and the courts are always packed, and there's players waiting. So it's people love it, just like it is everywhere else.
Sure. We were at a lot of different tennis clubs, and we were getting a big pushback from the tennis pro that wasn't ready or didn't like pickleball, didn't consider it a sport. You can't fight it anymore.
Yeah, well, it was something new, and like with everything else new, when you run a business, you got to tiptoe your way a little bit around and kind of try to figure out which way it's going to go. And nobody knew if it's here to stay and how it's going to take off and how it's going to impact the communities and how many people are going to play and if they're going to keep playing or if they're just going to play for a year and drop it. And I think that, that period is over. And I think everybody's realized that, pickleball is here to stay. And and so social play, it's growing all over the country. The professional tour is growing. So, it's definitely at a size right now where you have to, you have to accept it as part of the racket sports community, and and great.
Is it growing at the expense of tennis, or are there a lot of non-tennis players, picking up the sport, or a little of both?
I don't really have the numbers, around the country or even around the state, but I can speak for my club and I guess for my area, for the county and all that. And I don't think it's growing at the expense of tennis. No, I think tennis has been growing tremendously as well within the past 2 to 2.5 years, whether it's attributed to COVID or something else. Tennis has been growing quite a bit at my club and in the area as well. So I don't think it's at the expense of tennis. No, I think a lot of the tennis players actually are hopping over, after the tennis match or after they play a social game to play some pickleball. I think they're finding the fun in it. I think they're finding that it's helping their net game, and I think they're enjoying the nature of the pickleball game with the fast net exchanges and that kind of stuff, the touch that's required. So again, I don't know the numbers across the country, but I definitely in the Palm Beach County and my club, it's not growing at the expense of tennis. They're kind of growing together, which is a great thing.
Good.
Yeah.
That is good. So you and Coach Mike are both sponsored by Selkirk. How did that come about for you?
So like I said, we did an exhibition with Kyle. I looked around for tournaments, and I found a tournament in La Belle, Florida, which is about 2 hours away from where I live. That was my very first tournament, professional tournament. And I went and I played with my buddy Alex, who was a tennis professional as well. And we kind of, I still remember we're sponsored by Wilson in tennis, so we kind of called the rep, and they had to send us some paddles, and we got the paddles about 2 days before the tournament. We drove over there. We played a tournament. We did very well. We ended up winning it. Beat some of the local guys that were pretty well known in the area, and Jeff Hunter was the soccer guy that got me in touch with the company and with Rob Barnes and the whole soccer staff, and I thought they were very professional and in the way they handle their business, and I like their paddles, and the communication between myself and them, the company, has been great. I mean, the whole staff was very good, like I said, very professional, and I felt that was the right call, and I've been with them ever since.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been a great journey for I think for both of us.
I agree wholeheartedly. You're part of the family.
I am part of the family. That's a big family, and it's growing. So
sure is.
Andrei, I know you haven't been on the pickleball courts that long, but do you have a favorite moment or two from the pickleball courts at this point in your career?
There's a lot of very good memories. It's really hard to put my finger on, on one of them, but I've had quite a few really good tournaments. nationals seems to be the one where I had the most success. For some reason, I like the dry air over there. The ball travels a little faster. I like the conditions over there, and like I said, I got fourth in singles. In 2018, I got bronze in doubles. In 2019, so that's been a very good tournament to me. I really enjoyed, even though it's very recent. I have some really good memories from the Major League of Pickleball as well. Those are good memories as well. Obviously, you never forget your very first win. So the tournament in La Belle holds a good spot in my heart as well. Atlanta, I've had some really good mixed doubles matches over there with Lee Waters in Atlanta. So I have some good memories there as well. But yeah, like I said, a lot of good memories. Competing is fun, so it's hard to really pick one.
Well, you talked about the Nationals in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if anybody else would know about the Nationals in 2019.
Hey,
wow.
Another Romanian. How'd this happen?
How doing, guys?
This is magic.
Eden.
Very happy to be here. How you doing?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
We just played a video with you two guys playing. And
Who is that guy
it
again?
looked like Andrei gave you an opportunity to hit the ball too much. He just ended it.
He does that. He does that all the time. Andrei.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Well,
we definitely enjoy playing together, and yeah, that was a special moment, I think, for both of us. That 2019.
In 2019, yeah. I mean, to make like a quick, introduction. I mean, you already know. In my opinion, I had, the biggest achievement in my entire career, and one of the, the biggest moments in my, sports activity. Since I was, even when I was, playing tennis, I became, a couple of times, national champion in Romania. But still, I think that the satisfaction wasn't the same. Like, when we got bronze at the national, it was, something different. I don't know. Maybe the venue.
Well, I don't think anybody knows how far back you two guys go, right? So I know Jeff's got a little information, but it's since you guys were kids in Romania, you knew each other. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, he's a lot older than me. He's about
a lot older.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. He's about 3 to 4 years older than me, so we knew of each other. But in juniors, that's a massive gap in age, and even though we played some of the same tournaments, we never really got to play together. But we definitely knew of each other. He was an extremely good junior himself, and we knew of each other. We knew of each other's tennis background. So yeah, when he moved here to Florida, it was great to start a practice with him and be able to play tournaments with him, and I'm glad he moved to the Delray area.
And now we can go ahead.
I was just going to say, so you guys weren't playing tennis in the States together. You immediately picked up pickleball, and you're both playing just happened to both pick up the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Evan.
Yeah, we both, played tennis, all our lives. Since we were 6, 7, we picked up pickleball. I picked up pickleball 5 years ago, just as a joke, some people, were playing pickleball on the next floor while I was, playing tennis, and I was just, getting, annoyed by the sound. That's the way I pick up pickleball. I don't know what about Andrei. But to me, at the beginning, it was just like, a joke. I was annoyed by the sound.
In the beginning, when you first heard that, what's that crazy sound?
Yeah, in the beginning.
That's funny. Love that.
That is funny, yeah. He's a tennis snob, this guy.
So you guys parallel a lot. You both have full-time jobs at nice clubs. And so you aren't able to play as many tournaments. So, that probably works out well that you can figure out your, schedules based around, hopefully, as many hours as you work, right?
Yeah, it definitely gives us a lot more flexibility. A lot of the times with a full-time job, you might have to cancel last moment, and, you might have to adjust travel plans and that kind of stuff that, it's definitely annoying for somebody who does it full-time. But but we both do the full-time job, and we have the understanding of those things happening. So it definitely affects it in a positive way, because we have a little more understanding for those
So
things. when
Andrei,
they
we
come
have
up.
another guy on the show. He claims that he knows you and he wants to come on and tell you.
We don't know this guy.
See, he
Looks
doesn't know you.
It's like he just got a haircut.
Hey, that's a very classy hairdo. Don't mess around.
Yeah, I want to say something. I want to add a little extra about what your previous question about how much we play. Me and Andrei have similar jobs, and we both stuck at here in Florida with our jobs. We play just max a tournament a year. But I can say that I'm proud of both of us. This year, I mean, we played, I don't know, like 5-6 tournaments, big tournaments because of the job. But we had wins against top players as Matt Wright, Colin Jones, Tyler Lung, Zain Navratil, 3 times in a row this year. I mean, we beat Zain Navratil 3 times in a row this year. I mean, it's something. Just playing a couple of tournaments a year compared to the other guys playing like every single week, practicing every single day. I think it's something. And
it's more than something.
Me and Andrei.
But the other part I wanted to throw in there is the sport itself is such a family knit that how many times have you guys been on a live call with 2 other Romanians? Doesn't happen, right?
Doesn't happen much at all, Mike. You bring the Romanian community together.
And now Alex, I met, I think at the same time when I met Andrei, we were just doing some rec play. We were up in Palm Beach, and these guys have always been super nice to me, super polite. I don't get to play with the same people they get to play with, but anytime there's an opportunity, they play rec play with anybody. They're not too good to play with anybody. And I just wanted to make that comment out there, because it happens when some people get to this certain level, they'll only play with people at this level. And what happens is, when you're here and you're always begging for an opportunity to play with those people so you can get challenged, you can get better, these are the kind of classy guys that say, come on down or come on up and join us and play. I just want to throw that out there. These are all very respectable gentlemen, and they make the sport even better. I just want to throw it out there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we try to, we were there, so, we learn from other people. So we're trying to share what we learn. And, it's a big pickleball family, the way we call it.
Sure.
So as we want to share and we want to help people to get better, and this is the way we are.
It's always growing. Yeah. Listen, you have to give back. It's just part of life.
Exactly.
Well, Zain must have nightmares about the Romanians.
Well,
he better.
He got his revenge on me at the Major League Pickleball. So maybe just having nightmares about Eden, but it's
So Jeff, what's really nice, and I don't know if you know this, these guys all now live pretty close to each other, right, guys?
Yeah. I live in Delray Beach, and they live in West Palm Beach, like half an hour away.
Perfect.
Actually, the other day we had a practice together. It was like pretty good. I'm still sore.
So these guys are very high-level pro tennis players that are coaches, that are teachers. You have to have the right personality, because and they'll correct me if I'm wrong, you could be the best player in the country and not be a good coach. And you could be a mid-level player and be a superb coach. Would that be fair to say, guys?
Yep.
I want to make a comment about what you just said. You are perfectly right about Alex. I remember in 2019, I was in 2017. I'm sorry, I was playing the first edition of the Nationals, and I faced in the first round of singles Adam Stone. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know anything about him.
Yes.
And I remember that Pops was, next to me as my coach in that situation, and he gave a couple of good advices,
nice.
a couple of good tips in the right moment in a couple of key moment of the game, and I beat Adam Stone in the first round. Thanks to Alex,
because he's very encouraging kind of guy. He's
a great coach, great pro.
Mike, let me tell you, Alex is still waiting for his check from Eden from that performance.
So, Alex, tell everybody your last name and why they give you a nickname, Pops.
My last name is Pop Moldovan. So from Pop, it started with Andrei calling me Pops in this pickleball world. So it stopped like that. Probably, I don't think it's because of my haircut or my age.
Not at
because
all.
I feel young and I think it's because I'm very experienced. So I like to share.
I understand. That sounds fair. And then I
and I always take care of these guys.
Most people probably kill Edin's name.
Yeah.
So Edin, tell everybody the proper pronunciation would be.
On my name?
Yes.
It's Edin, actually.
Edin. And it's not Laika, it's not Lika.
No, it's Lika. It's Lika. Yeah, Lika. It's the right way.
So
yeah.
We got
it's like the garden of Eden.
Andrei
the garden of Eden.
Daescu.
Exactly. Oh, well, that's a problem.
Andrei, how is it supposed to be pronounced correctly?
Oh, you got it about right.
Daescu or Daescu?
Yeah, you're right there on it. Yeah.
Okay, close enough?
Yeah, definitely.
Almost
Look,
perfect.
Mike, it's been butchered so many times that you can't get it wrong anymore, man. It's got a lot of variations to it.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you guys just can call Coach Mike and call him Grandpa now. So
that's me.
I know. Congratulations, Grandpa.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm very lucky. Yes.
Yeah.
Baby Mila.
There you go.
Nice name.
Yeah, beautiful. And Milagro is miracle in Spanish, so they went with Mila.
So she will be a new Milagro of pickleball?
Say it again?
She's going to be the new Milagro of pickleball?
I don't know. They're all hooked. You know, they all made fun of me when I first started playing pickleball, schmickeball. What are you going to do with that? And now they all play, all their friends play, and we didn't realize how big it was. This has been around since '65. You guys have been under a rock somewhere. What are you talking about?
Funny.
Yeah.
So the tennis world is embracing it, and I know a lot of the pro tennis players have played pickleball. We've all seen them on the courts. Have any of you guys played on a clay court yet? Or hard true, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, we did it once in Long Island, in New York, when I was there for in a country club to present it to the members.
Okay.
It's fun. You know, I just divide them to use the heavy balls a little bit, you know, the heavier ones, the practice ones.
Okay.
And it worked pretty well. Like, I cannot say, you know, it's, if you don't have anywhere to put it, you can do something.
Yeah, I also played once in the Hamptons, like 2 or 3 years ago. It's pretty much the same, but we have, us as tennis players, we have a big advantage that we can slide. So that's a huge advantage, on hard throw. But it's better on hard courts.
Andrei, have you tried it? And we all use the Onyx, the soft, squishy ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've tried it, Mike. I played twice, I think, on clay. Yeah, I think it would be great if they can expand it to multiple surfaces and be able to play on clay and maybe on grass one day, and who knows, maybe they'll come up with other surfaces as well. But I think right now the biggest challenge is the ball, So
sure,
I think hardcourt is the preferred surface by a country mile right now. But like I said, in the future, I hope the technology will be advanced enough where they can come up with balls that will work on different surfaces as well.
I have a few country club owners asking me because they're getting the push really hard. They don't want to give up a tennis court. They are asking me, Michael, can you play? And I said, the answer is yes. It's a little bit different of a game. But when we went over there and we got the Onyx balls and they realized, well, it was a little less taxing on their body, than the cement, because most of the target market are 60 to 80-year-old people that are at these clubs that want to not play pickleball because they're being told they're going to get injured because of the cement, and they feel more confident on the clay. But I told them it's played very different on the hard true. And yes, there's sliding involved, and they're used to that, so they liked it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Mike. I mean, there's a lot of very select private country clubs in California, and all these courts are hard courts, and young, old people, everybody plays on those courts, whether they play tennis or pickleball, and everybody seems to make it through just fine. So
I agree.
Yeah, I think that might just be
all right. So we got on the show right now, Jeff, 3 top athletes. These guys are in incredible shape. I know that for a fact. And what are you guys doing physically, not just with food, but physically, to say, hey, I want to be around when I'm old like Mike in his 60s, so I can still be playing? What are you guys doing? Do you stretch? Do you eat well? Each take a turn and answer that question for people that are watching.
Okay,
so Andre, you tell about our 9 sessions on the parking lot doing fitness.
Sure, yeah.
Let's start with age before beauty. So Alex, you get to go first.
Wow.
So of course, like with the point is with our job, I'm teaching also tennis. I'm the director of PGA National now, so I teach tennis, pickleball, and I've also pop tennis as a third sport. So I'm teaching that too a little bit.
Wonderful.
And I'm being in the office and on the court pretty much, but like by standing a lot, standing and moving on hard court on clay, it's demanding for the body. So it's essential, to stretch once you finish, the day. And then of course, rest, sleep is super important. And then of course, the physical activity, physical practice, lately before Andrew went to the Major League Pickleball, we just went to, we used to train together, do some physical, practices.
Right.
That's what I was saying about our night sessions after the kids are asleep in the parking lot or in the gym. But that paid off for him. So I want to congratulate him for a great result and great playing at the tournament.
Very nice.
And then, of course, everything is combined, like rest, stretch, physical activity, and eat and drink.
Okay.
So
I like the eating part. Go ahead. Eden, you're next.
Yeah. So, I mean, I try to stay in the gym as much as I can. I try to go every day, just like 45 minutes to an hour. And
it doesn't look like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, but stop for 1 second. I'm going to tell a story that you two guys may or may not know. But Kyle meets Eden, maybe the first time, and says a comment. He looks at him as his head like, "You're a lot smaller in person, right?"
Yeah,
I know everybody was cracking up. It was funny.
Yeah. So yeah, but lately, I mean, I'm trying to combine, stamina and treadmill with heavy weights. I'm trying not to do heavy weights every day, just light weights and more reps and more cardio, more stamina, because heavy weights, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago or like a month. It doesn't really help me on the pickleball court. So I just try to stay in the gym, but doing more stamina, eat healthy, don't party too much anymore, because I'm a little older. So a little older than I used to be. What about you?
I can give you a suggestion. You'll probably lose a couple pounds in about 2 minutes. You get one of those things and you just go bzzz, and you'll drop weight right away.
You see, like I'm the one, me and you, Michael, looks like all three of us.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Jeff.
The sweat just slides right off.
We accept it. We accept it. We just, guys, you got to understand. You got to accept it. That's it.
Somebody said this to me. Listen, Andrei, God only made so many perfect heads, and all the rest have hair. And that's it.
That's a good one. I got to remember that.
All right, Mike, we'll go with that story.
All right. I'm sticking to it.
There you go.
All right, Andrei. Any kind of regular, I mean, granted, all three of you guys move a lot. You're moving, you're coaching. But do you do other things that you might suggest to someone else to stay in shape longer? Somebody mentioned stretching. What else?
Yeah, I mean, I would say stretching is really important. Yoga could definitely help with that. Getting, regular sports massages to get a scar tissue out is important as well. Anything that has to do with recovery. I mean, you definitely want to be pushing your body, but you also have to give back. There's so many rec players that you see, they come out, they never warm up. They just jump in with a pedal. They play for about 3 hours, and then, they sit down and they have a couple of beers. And I know it's fun, but it's just asking for an injury doing it that way. So, I mean, stretching is definitely important. Like I said, I think yoga helps quite a bit. Getting massages, sports massages once in a while. You want to keep yourself as flexible as possible. You want to keep your joints as loose as possible, and that's how you're going to avoid injury, and that's how you're going to be playing when you get to be as old as possible.
2 quick things I'm going to throw in there. If you guys agree with me, just say yay or nay. Stretching after you're done is typically more effective than stretching prior to play. Yay or nay?
100%.
They're both important.
Both important.
I feel like also before, I feel like
Andrei and Alex, I'll pitch in $50. You guys pitch in $50 each. We'll pay to see Eden doing yoga. There's no way he's doing yoga.
Well, I'm not doing yoga, but you would be surprised. I'm trying, to stretch 15, 20 minutes every single day. Even at home, when I watch, like news or like a movie, I try to stretch. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think I do it like every day, but at least 5 times a week. I'm not very flexible. That's true, but I try, to do a lot of
Okay.
stretching.
I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm just saying. I was
No.
a very good friend of mine plays pickles, and he's a physical therapist. And what he told me was most people that stretch don't stretch long enough. Like if you're doing a stretch, stay in it for a minute. And that sounds like a long time, but he said it gives your muscle much more time to stretch and relax, stretch and relax. And there's usually always 2 stretches for each muscle. Not
And
that I
also
do
this
it,
way,
I just know
you
about
can
it.
avoid
I teach about
injuries.
it, but I'm guilty. I don't do it either.
Andrei stretches a lot, and that's why so flexible. I always see him on the pickleball, and I was outside the pickleball court stretching a lot, and this is like very important. Yes, that's why it's that flexible for his height.
Yes, we talked about that. The advantages of having the long arms and the long legs. And he goes, "Yeah, Mike, I can get down there, but it's not so easy getting up because it's a longer trip to get down and get up for us guys that aren't that tall."
So
who's the tallest one? Jeff, you're 6'4"?
According to Jeff, he's 6'4" as well. So it's just you, Mike. That's the short guy today.
And Alex, 6 what?
I think I'm a 6'1", I guess.
On high heels, maybe.
Eden, what's your height?
6'4".
Okay,
6'4".
I lose.
Yeah, 6'4".
What you 6 point what? Mike? What is it? 6 what?
Me? No way. Maybe 5'10" on a nice day when my hair's sticking up. I'm a 5'10". But again, you guys, at 62, I still have wheels. I can still move.
Oh, we know that.
You sure do, Mike.
We know that.
Over here in Naples, they have a couple stretch zones now, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's good for everybody. You're right.
We have these 2 here in Palm Beach. Yeah, I was actually curious to go and try it to see how it goes. If they can stretch me well enough.
Yeah, whoever thought of there'd be a business there, but there's 2 or 3 competing over here.
That's good.
So Jeff is over where U.S. Naples is. The U.S. Open in Naples.
That's a cool
nice facility.
His backyard.
You have a nice backyard over there, Jeff.
Yeah, it's 4 miles to East Naples, so it's nice.
Good. Now we know who to call for housing for next year.
Yes, sir.
There you
go. So I have one more question, Andrei, before we close, and I think it involves Eden as well. So you won the men's open in the U.S. championships. And then I know you talked about the Georgia Open. You guys made a long run. You lost to Tyson and Riley, I think, in the first round. And then you won a bunch. And then you lost to Ben and Colin in the, I think, late to end your run. But that was a 39-team field, I think. And you guys, I don't know, won 6 or 7 games. And
I think we got 6. We played Tyson and Riley, I think, a little later in the tour. I think we won our first 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Round.
Okay.
Third round.
And then we won our first 2, and then we played them, and they're super solid, and they've played really well that match. And I don't think we really played our best, but again, credit to them, and they were super strong. And then we started getting to a much better rhythm in the back draw, and we picked up quite a few good wins. And then then we played Colin, Ben, and we were in there for the first part of the game, and then they play very solid, and they took us out. They're both very good players. So, but it was fun. Those were good teams. The whole tournament was good. Out of the 39 teams over there, everybody was extremely solid. So we had a really good experience there.
So I'll close with this for all 3 of you. And as we wrap the show up, where do you see the sport headed over the next 5 to 10 years? I know, Andrei, we talked a little bit about this earlier with the growth you're seeing at your club, but moving forward, where do you see pickleball in the next maybe 5 to 10 years? Why don't we start with you, Andrei?
Well, I think it's very hard to tell. I strongly believe it's depending on TV time and how that's going to work out with people watching it on TV, and how entertaining that's going to be. And
right.
And I don't have the answers. It's going to be hard to tell, but everything it's going to be based on that. It's been obviously on TV quite a few times now. Some of the PPA finals have been on TV. The Major League final has been on TV. The US Open has been on TV. So I think if it picks up in terms of TV viewership, I think I think it's hard to really predict where the ceiling is going to be. But yeah, that's going to be the main question mark, I would say.
How about the international market from your perspective, Andrei? Do you see that catching up at some point with the U.S.?
It's expanding. I mean, look, Canada is pretty much caught up with the U.S. Obviously, there's a much higher volume in the U.S., but they're playing in Canada all over the place. I think Steve Dicken has obviously done an amazing job, promoting the game over there and being the face of Pickleball Canada, and being
also,
on the main
Ernesto Fallardo.
Yeah, a lot of exhibitions that Steve has done, and he's really brought it to a whole new level. So again, Canada is pretty much on with it, and then you see some pictures from a lot of the Selkirk people in India, and then you see some Selkirk people now in the northwestern Europe, in Sweden. They're playing. I know Eden has a small facility back in Romania actually as well, where he's got his nets set up over there. He's got his paddles and all that. I think it's gonna keep growing. And I go back to my first statement. I think TV is what's gonna help it spread out like wildfire, because I think the retention rate is huge. So everybody was playing. I mean, it's very rare that somebody plays and says, "Oh, that's not for me." I think a lot of people will play, really enjoy it. A lot of people get addicted. So it's more about just reaching enough people, and I think that's gonna be the way to do it.
There's so many more paddle companies. There's so many more sponsors that were there. When I played 6 years ago and go to a tournament, our bracket would have 20 people. That same group now is 45 in that same bracket. So it's more than doubled just from 5 years ago. And most of the other athletes in different sports are seeing the continued growth. But what you're telling me, I agree with wholeheartedly. TV is number one. I mean, you see there's new sponsors. Nike's on board. Adidas is on board. The bigger names are coming in.
You know what? Like
Wilson,
also,
bubble
like
up.
if you see now business wise, because you're looking at that perspective too, because when money are involved, things are growing. Like it's a good business for every club. First of all, in the States, and then once on Eastern Europe, we're gonna try to Eden did that in Romania, so he has his club over there playing. Once you make more money, and more money are involved, and more people are playing the game, just for sure it's gonna grow, and you don't know how far it can go. We did an experiment at my club in Long Island. We just kind of invited people that never play sports for an open day to play for free a lesson of tennis and a lesson of pickleball. And 70% of those people signed for pickleball, not for tennis.
Perfect. Well, there you go.
Because it's easy to play. And you don't have to have, at the beginning, it's easy. It's a smaller court, slower game, the ball is bouncing soft. And it's, so, we'll see. It's going to grow. Why not, go further to the Olympics or something? I don't know what to say, to be honest with you. But, or maybe colleges, I don't know.
It's in colleges, and there's a certain amount of international countries that have to be involved before the Olympics happens. But
correct, you need like 7 or 8 countries, because I used to play squash in Romania and be part of the federation. So same thing happened with squash, and then we were proposed to be squash to be part of it, but we had like 10-12 countries in the world having a federation playing the sport.
Right.
We're still on the table that to be approved. So probably that's going to happen on pickleball too.
So Eden and Andre, do you know what curling is? That's what curling.
Of course. Could
you imagine?
We
getting
don't watch
excited?
it, but we know what it is.
No, but could you imagine? Would that get you excited to go play curling with your buddies?
No,
probably
not.
not.
Mike, I have a friend. I have a Swedish friend that I know very well from tennis, and I used to play a lot of tournaments with him, and I used to be the curling snob as well. But if you try to go out there and grab that rock and try to spin it the way these guys do it and have that kind of precision, I think you'll appreciate it a little bit more.
It's much tougher than we think, but it's made the Olympics for some reason. It is much tougher.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
I was about to say, I have a dream. Before I retire, I hope I'm gonna be able, to play with these guys at the Olympic Games. I know it's like a little too far.
Sure.
But that would be, such an accomplishment, for the sport. because
it surely won't be in my
prepare for the
lifetime, but it could be in your lifetime.
Well, that's hard to believe, but we have to to believe that the sport is going to keep growing, and hopefully it's going to be an Olympic sport soon. Why not?
Mike,
Well,
you gotta believe.
We're very thankful that all you guys took some time aside tonight to come on to the show. I know Jeff and I are very grateful that because you guys have busy schedules. I know that Andre and Alex both have kids, full-time jobs. I know Eden is always traveling, and people are always coming to where Eden to get signatures all the time, get his signature.
He's the poster boy.
You see, that's why he's knowing what he's doing in the gym. You see?
Yeah,
that's all I have.
It's all good. Thank you very much, guys.
Guys, thanks a lot. It's been a great evening. We appreciate you all getting on, and you're great ambassadors for the sport. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the invite, guys.
Hey,
Take
go
care.
Selkirk. That's my family.
There you go. Bye.
Go family
Go
Selkirk.
Monarch.
All right, Monarch. We like Monarch too. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Stay healthy. I hope to see all you guys soon. I'll even go to your place. I'll come to West Palm or wherever you guys are. I'm happy to.
Palm Beach, we're here. We wait for you, Mike. Give us a call.
Right next door. All I need is a text message. Give me a date and a time. I'll be there.
All right, Mike.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night. Jeffy, thank you very much for your help.
Thanks, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Take care.
Thank you. You as well, guys.
Thank you.